Imagine the lush rainforests and ancient ruins scattered across Mesoamerica, the remnants of a once vibrant and sophisticated civilization, the Maya. For centuries, the magnificent pyramids, intricate stelae, and elaborate murals of the Maya stood as silent witnesses to a lost kingdom, their stories locked away in a complex and enigmatic writing system. This was a script composed of hundreds of unique glyphs, a visual language that defied easy understanding and presented a formidable challenge to scholars for generations. The Maya civilization flourished for over 2 millennia, reaching its classic period peak between roughly 250 and 900 CE. Imagine their impressive achievements in astronomy, mathematics including the concept of zero, architecture, and art. They developed a sophisticated calendar system and a complex cosmology. Yet the key to fully unlocking their history, their beliefs, and their societal structures lay hidden within their intricate glyphs. Following the Spanish conquest in the 16th century, much of the Maya knowledge was tragically lost. Imagine the destruction of Maya codices, books made of bark paper by zealous missionaries who viewed them as pagan. Only a handful of these precious texts survived, further obscuring the meaning of the Maya script. For centuries, the Maya glyphs remained a tantalizing mystery. Imagine early explorers and scholars encountering these beautiful yet indecipherable symbols carved into stone monuments and painted in the surviving codices. They recognized that this was a form of writing, but its complex nature and its visual distinctiveness from European alphabets presented a major hurdle. Early attempts at decipherment were often based on flawed assumptions. Imagine scholars trying to apply an alphabetical model to a script that was largely logosyllabic, meaning it used symbols to represent both whole words, logograms, and syllables. This fundamental misunderstanding hampered progress for centuries. Another significant obstacle was the prevailing belief that Maya writing was primarily ideographic, that each glyph represented a complete idea or concept, rather than a sound. Imagine the sheer number of potential meanings for hundreds of glyphs, making systematic decipherment seem like an insurmountable task. The beauty and complexity of the Maya glyphs themselves also contributed to the mystery. Imagine the intricate details and artistic flair of each symbol, often incorporating human and animal forms, geometric patterns, and abstract designs. While visually stunning, this artistry made it difficult to discern the underlying linguistic structure. The lack of a Rosetta Stone equivalent, a text written in Maya script, alongside a known language, further compounded the challenge. Imagine scholars working with a vast corpus of unknown symbols and no clear key to unlock their phonetic values or grammatical rules. Despite these formidable obstacles, a few dedicated individuals began to chip away at the mystery. Imagine early pioneers in Maya studies meticulously cataloging glyphs, identifying recurring patterns, and making initial breakthroughs in understanding the Maya calendar and their numerical system. These early steps, though limited, laid the groundwork for the eventual cracking of the Maya code. The journey to decipher the Maya script would be a long and winding one, filled with false starts, heated debates, and moments of profound insight. Imagine generations of scholars dedicating their lives to this intellectual puzzle, driven by the desire to finally hear the lost voices of the Maya civilization. The breakthrough, when it finally came, would reveal a kingdom far more complex and historically rich than previously imagined. Imagine the early scholars confronted with the Maya glyphs. While the bulk of the writing remained enigmatic, two areas offered tantalizing glimmers of understanding: the Maya calendar system and their numerical notation. These systems, being somewhat independent of the fully linguistic script, provided crucial entry points for decipherment. The Maya developed an incredibly complex and accurate calendar system. Imagine the intricate cycles of time they tracked, including the 365-day Hab, solar year, the 260-day Tsoken sacred round, and the long count, a system that recorded time in vast cycles of thousands of years, anchored to a mythological starting date. The glyphs associated with these calendar cycles, such as the names of the days and months, and the numerical coefficients that accompanied them, were among the first to be understood. Imagine scholars meticulously studying the surviving Maya codices and the inscriptions on stone monuments, identifying recurring glyphs and their associated numerical values within calendar dates. By correlating these Maya dates with the Gregorian calendar, based on historical accounts and astronomical alignments, early researchers were able to decipher the basic structure and function of the Maya calendar system. Figures like Ernst Furstermann made significant early contributions in this area, unlocking the secrets of the Dresden Codex, one of the few surviving Maya books. The Maya also possessed a sophisticated vigesimal base 20 numerical system. Imagine their use of dots and bars to represent numbers, with a dot equaling 1 and a bar equaling 5. They also developed a symbol for 0, a concept that was not independently discovered in Europe until much later. The glyphs representing these numerical values were relatively straightforward to identify and understand in the context of calendar dates and other numerical records. The decipherment of the Maya calendar and numerical system was a crucial first step. Imagine it providing scholars with a reliable framework within which to analyze the surrounding still undeciphered glyphs. The dates inscribed on monuments, for example, provided a historical context for the accompanying texts, suggesting they might relate to the events or rulers associated with those specific time periods. Furthermore, the understanding of Maya numbers allowed scholars to identify patterns and repetitions within the broader script. Imagine them recognizing that certain glyphs or combinations of glyphs frequently appeared alongside dates or numerical values, hinting at their potential grammatical or historical significance. However, the progress made in understanding the calendar and numbers did not immediately unlock the linguistic content of the Maya script. Imagine the frustration of knowing when something was recorded but not what was being said. The logosyllabic nature of the writing system, and the lack of a clear phonetic key, continued to pose significant challenges. The early breakthroughs in the calendar and numerical systems were nonetheless vital. Imagine them as the first rays of light piercing through a long darkness, offering a tangible sense that the Maya script was not an impenetrable mystery. They provided a foundation upon which future scholars could build, armed with the knowledge that at least some aspects of this lost language could be understood. These initial successes fueled the continued pursuit of decipherment, laying the groundwork for the more significant breakthroughs that would eventually reveal the rich history and mythology encoded within the Maya glyphs. Imagine decades of painstaking work on the Maya glyphs, with scholars making incremental progress on the calendar and numbers but still largely in the dark about the script's linguistic content. The prevailing belief that Maya writing was primarily ideographic, where each symbol represented a whole word or concept, created a seemingly insurmountable barrier. The sheer number of unique glyphs suggested a system far too complex to be easily deciphered. However, a revolutionary idea began to take hold. What if the Maya glyphs also represented sounds? This paradigm shift was not a sudden revelation, but rather the result of the persistent work and insightful observations of several key figures. Imagine the crucial contributions of scholars like Yuri Morozov, a Soviet linguist who in the 1950s challenged the long-held ideographic view. Morozov, working with the limited number of surviving Maya codices, proposed that the Maya script was logosyllabic, meaning that some glyphs represented whole words, logograms, while others represented syllables, phonetic signs. Imagine Morozov's methodology. He meticulously analyzed the patterns and frequencies of glyphs within the codices, applying linguistic principles and statistical analysis. He recognized recurring combinations of glyphs that seemed to represent grammatical structures and proper nouns. Crucially, he drew comparisons with known writing systems, suggesting that the Maya, like the ancient Egyptians with their hieroglyphs, might have used phonetic signs to spell out words. One of Morozov's key breakthroughs involved the Landa alphabet. Imagine Diego de Landa, a 16th century Spanish bishop, attempting to document the Maya writing system by asking Maya informants to provide equivalents for the letters of the Spanish alphabet. While Landa's alphabet was flawed and incomplete, Morozov recognized that some of the Maya glyphs associated with Spanish letters might actually represent the sounds of those letters or syllables. Imagine the initial skepticism and resistance to Morozov's ideas within the Western academic establishment. The prevailing ideographic view, championed by influential scholars like J. Eric S. Thompson, had held sway for decades. The Cold War context also played a role, with Morozov's work initially being dismissed by some due to his Soviet affiliation. However, the evidence supporting the phonetic approach gradually mounted. Imagine other scholars, building upon Morozov's work, beginning to identify phonetic patterns and consistent sound values for certain glyphs. The decipherment of proper names, such as Maya rulers, whose names appeared repeatedly in inscriptions alongside their royal titles and dates, provided crucial confirmation of the phonetic hypothesis. A pivotal moment in the acceptance of the phonetic approach came with the work of scholars like Tatiana Proskuryakov. Imagine her meticulous analysis of the inscriptions at the Maya site of Piedras Negras. Proskuriakov demonstrated that the inscriptions were not primarily concerned with abstract cosmology or mythology, as previously believed, but rather with the dynastic histories of Maya rulers, their births, accessions to power, marriages and deaths. This historical context made the identification of proper names and associated phonetic glyphs much more feasible. The recognition of the phonetic component of the Maya script was a true revolution in the field. Imagine it opening up vast new avenues for decipherment. Suddenly, the Maya glyphs were no longer just enigmatic symbols but a written language with a sound system that could be systematically studied and understood. The lost kingdom of the Maya was beginning to find its voice once more. Imagine the Maya inscriptions, once seen as primarily religious or cosmological, now beginning to reveal a rich tapestry of human history. The cracking of the phonetic code allowed scholars to identify the names of rulers, their royal titles, their lineage, and the key events of their reigns. The stone monuments and temple walls transformed from enigmatic puzzles into historical chronicles, bringing the powerful Maya dynasties to life. The work of Tatyana Proskuriakov was particularly crucial in this breakthrough. Imagine her carefully studying the recurring patterns of glyphs associated with specific sites over time. She noticed that certain glyphic phrases appeared in conjunction with depictions of rulers and dates that spanned roughly a human lifespan. This led her to the groundbreaking realization that these inscriptions were not abstract myths but rather historical accounts of royal lives, birth, accession to the throne, marriage, warfare, and death. Imagine the excitement as scholars began to identify the names of powerful Maya kings and queens, figures like Pakal the Great of Palenque, Yaxcoch Mo of Copan, and Lady Sixsky of Naranjo. The phonetic decipherment allowed these names, once silent glyphs, to be read aloud, connecting the monumental art and architecture to specific historical individuals. The inscriptions also revealed the complex political landscape of the Maya world. Imagine a network of independent city-states, each ruled by a Kuhul Ajar, a divine lord, who claimed descent from mythical ancestors and wielded significant religious and political power. These city-states engaged in intricate alliances, trade relationships, and frequent warfare as they vied for regional dominance. The decipherment of verbs and grammatical structures allowed scholars to understand the actions and relationships between these rulers. Imagine inscriptions detailing military conquests, diplomatic marriages aimed at forging alliances, and the establishment of royal lineages. The monuments became narratives carved in stone, recounting the ebb and flow of power between different Maya kingdoms. The archaeological records provided crucial corroborating evidence for these historical accounts. Imagine the tombs of these identified rulers being discovered, filled with rich offerings that matched the status and power described in the inscriptions. The skeletal remains could sometimes even be tentatively linked to specific individuals mentioned in the texts, further solidifying the historical reality of the deciphered narratives. The Maya inscriptions also shed light on their religious beliefs and cosmology, but now within a historical context. Imagine rulers invoking divine support for their actions and legitimizing their rule through their connection to the supernatural realm. The glyphs revealed the names of deities and the rituals performed to honor them, often linked to significant historical events. The breakthrough in understanding royal histories also illuminated the Maya concept of time and their cyclical view of history. Imagine rulers commemorating important events at the end of significant calendar cycles, linking their own reigns to those of their ancestors and to mythological precedents. The decipherment of the Maya script, fueled by the phonetic revolution, had thus transformed the silent ruins into a talking landscape. Imagine the lost kingdom of the Maya finally revealing its political structures, its dynastic struggles, and the names and deeds of its powerful rulers, offering an unprecedented glimpse into a complex and sophisticated civilization. Imagine the initial excitement of unlocking the names and deeds of Maya kings and the intricacies of their calendar. However, the Maya script held far more than just royal chronicles and timekeeping. As decipherment progressed, scholars began to penetrate the layers of glyphs that spoke to the everyday lives, social organization, and profound beliefs of the Maya people, offering a more holistic understanding of this ancient civilization. While monumental inscriptions often focused on the elite, the surviving Maya codices, though few in number, offered a different perspective. Imagine these bark paper books containing information on a wider range of topics, including agricultural practices, rituals, divination, astronomy, and mythology. The glyphs and accompanying illustrations provided glimpses into the concerns and activities of the Maya beyond the royal court. The decipherment of specific glyphs and phrases revealed details about Maya social structure. Imagine the identification of terms for different social classes, such as nobles, scribes, artisans, and commoners. While the power dynamics are clearly evident in the royal inscriptions, these broader terms offer a more nuanced understanding of Maya society. Agricultural practices, the backbone of Maya life, are also being illuminated through the script. Imagine glyphs and passages that refer to the cultivation of maize, beans, squash, and other staple crops, as well as the associated rituals and deities connected to the agricultural cycle. The codices in particular contain almanacs that guided planting and harvesting times. Religious beliefs and cosmology are a rich area of ongoing decipherment. Imagine the names and attributes of a vast pantheon of Maya gods and goddesses being revealed, each associated with specific aspects of the natural world and human affairs. Glyphs depict creation myths, the journey of the soul after death, and the complex Maya worldview, which saw the cosmos as a multi-layered entity connected by sacred pathways. Rituals and ceremonies played a vital role in Maya life, and the script provides insights into these practices. Imagine glyphs describing offerings, dances, sacrifices, and other ceremonies performed to honor the gods, ensure successful harvests, and commemorate important life events. The codices often served as ritual manuals, guiding priests through these complex performances. Even aspects of daily life are beginning to emerge from the deciphered texts. Imagine glyphs that may refer to specific objects, tools, clothing, and even food preparation. While these are often more challenging to interpret definitively, they offer tantalizing glimpses into the material culture of the Maya. The ongoing decipherment process also involves understanding the interplay between the spoken Maya languages, which are still spoken today, and the ancient script. Imagine linguists working with contemporary Maya speakers to gain insights into the potential meanings and pronunciations of certain glyphs and grammatical structures. This interdisciplinary approach is proving invaluable in unlocking deeper levels of understanding. The cracking of the Maya code is thus revealing a civilization far more complex and multifaceted than previously imagined. Imagine the shift from a focus solely on kings and calendars to a broader understanding of Maya society, their daily lives, their intricate belief systems, and their profound connection to the natural world. The Lost Kingdom is not just a history of rulers, but a vibrant tapestry of human experience. Imagine the decades and centuries when the magnificent ruins of the Maya stood as silent enigmas, their stories locked away in an unreadable script. The successful cracking of the Maya code has fundamentally transformed our understanding of this remarkable civilization, essentially rewriting Maya history based on their own words, rather than relying solely on archaeological evidence and the biased accounts of the Spanish conquistadors. Before the decipherment, much of what was known about the Maya was filtered through the lens of colonial narratives and interpretations of their material culture. Imagine the Maya often being portrayed as a peaceful theocratic society, primarily concerned with astronomy and ritual. The decipherment of their script has shattered this simplistic image, revealing a far more complex and dynamic history marked by political intrigue, warfare, and the ambitions of powerful rulers. The ability to read the inscriptions on their monuments has provided a chronological framework for Maya history, anchored in their own calendar system and linked to specific historical events and individuals. Imagine the reconstruction of royal dynasties, the tracing of lineage, and the understanding of political alliances and rivalries between different Maya city-states, all based on primary source material written by the Maya themselves. The decipherment has also illuminated the Maya worldview and their rich mythology in unprecedented detail. Imagine gaining direct access to their creation stories, their beliefs about the afterlife, and their understanding of the cosmos, providing a far more nuanced and authentic understanding of their spiritual life than previously possible. Furthermore, the script has revealed the Maya's sophisticated understanding of their own history. Imagine them recording not just contemporary events, but also referencing their ancestors and drawing upon historical precedents to legitimize their own rule and actions. This sense of historical consciousness adds another layer of complexity to our understanding of their civilization. The ongoing decipherment continues to yield new insights into Maya's social structures, economic practices, and daily life. Imagine the potential for future discoveries to further refine our understanding of how Maya society functioned beyond the elite level. The voices of scribes, nobles, and even glimpses of the lives of commoners are beginning to emerge from the written record. The impact of the decipherment extends beyond academic circles. Imagine the profound effect it has had on contemporary Maya communities, fostering a renewed sense of cultural identity and pride in their ancestral heritage. The ability to read the script of their ancestors connects them to their past in a powerful and direct way. The story of cracking the Maya code serves as a compelling example of the power of interdisciplinary collaboration, the persistence of scholarly inquiry, and the transformative potential of linguistic decipherment. Imagine the decades of dedicated work by archaeologists, linguists, epigraphers, and art historians finally unlocking the secrets of a lost kingdom, allowing us to hear the voices of a remarkable civilization that flourished centuries ago. In conclusion, the successful decipherment of the Maya script has revolutionized our understanding of the Maya civilization. Imagine the shift from a largely archaeological interpretation to a history informed by their own written records. The Lost Kingdom has found its voice, offering a richer, more nuanced, and ultimately more accurate account of its rise, its complexities, and its enduring legacy in the ancient world.